Guys, I just cleaned the studio, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a tour. All right, so With Love actually exists in my basement. This is actually where I get most of my design work done. You'll see the inspiration board behind my computer, as well as a calendar to keep track of everything. I do have a little digital printer for all of those office-y type things. This couch is actually something I thought I would use a lot, and I don't, so I'm actually going to replace that this week with a new workstation. You'll see this holds all of my paper. I have a shipping station and just general supply station. And then over there, that's where I keep all my samples along with any like special books or anything that I have. That's all of the displays for trade shows, festivals, and anything else I might actually be at with some of my cards and other invitations. There's a paper cutter. And that table right there is specifically to help measure invitations and get all my cuts right. And that's in between. The bag of garbage on the floor is actually recycling and something that I may be making new paper with. That is the furniture cabinet. So all those little wood blocks are used in the press. And then I'm gonna circle back over here. So this is my main workstation. You'll see there's lots of room for people to help me out while packing, putting together invitations, etc. All in all, it's just a good space to work. Going back over here to the furniture cabinet, you'll see these are just little blocks of wood. They're all done. Those little measurements here show how long they are. So I'll show you that. And then this is the newest piece of equipment in the shop, which is a photopolymer plate maker. So I'm able to make a lot of my own plates in-house. It looks really fancy, and it is, but it's great because there's no chemicals involved. It just uses water. So it's a great piece of equipment to have in the shop. This is Stella, my Chandler and Price platen press from approximately 1924. Let's see, there you go. She's in complete working condition and has a really cool old leather belt. And if you want to see just a little bit about how she works. So let's see. Come over here, flip the switch. So I actually have a variable frequency drive on here. So it allows me to set the speed faster or slower depending on what I'm printing and how comfortable I am with what's actually on the press. And then this little start button here. So you'll see the platen opens up, the rollers come down and ink a plate that might be there, and then the platen closes and inks and makes an impression. All of this is actually done by hand, which is actually one of the things that makes letterpress such a cool art form. Moving on, I've got all of my ink and solvents that I use to clean the press. These are brand new, my little ink holders that I've attached to the wall. And then this is Helga from approximately 1954. And this is a Heidelberg windmill. And the coolest thing about the windmill is that it is actually completely automated paper feeder. So you put a piece of paper here, and again, it is a platen press. So the paper gets pulled by the windmill arm and dropped over here on the other side. This is a great press for me to be able to do large runs and also to kind of experiment with different materials. And then finally here in the center, I've got my composing stone where I set up my plates and get everything prepared. And then my additional inking supplies here, as well as the place where I mix the ink. And then one of my favorite little stations in the press room, my pegboard, which has all of my tools nicely arranged that I need in order to ink and run the presses. And then the last two pieces of equipment that I have in the shop are this little Adana 3x5 press. No, 5x8 press. And basically, this would have been just a little job printer that they would have had in stores. They still make these today, but this one is probably 1960s-ish. The same mechanism as the rest of them, it just uses a hand pressure to actually make the impression. It also will not get as thick of an impression as the other two pieces of equipment, just because there's only so much pressure you can apply. And then finally, this little Baltimorean number 3, which is actually in pieces because I am trying to restore it, is a really awesome press. It was very ornamental and probably from circa 1885. You can see the sides there, Baltimorean number 3. Eventually, this will just be a hobby project for me, which is a lot of fun. So thank you very much if you're still with me, but this is With Love Papery in the studio. I'd love if you have any questions, please reach out. Thanks, guys.